Has social media destroyed relationships? Hey guys, what's up? Angie here, and I'm here with my lovely co-host who happens to also be my husband. How are you?
I'm doing great.
We are back with another Dinner Rolls and Relationship Convo, season 2, and we're really excited to talk about love, relationships, marriages, and all that great stuff. And I thought it would be a good opportunity to kick this episode off with talking about, has social media destroyed relationships, the authenticity of relationships, and all that good stuff like that, because you see so much phoniness on the internet. And not just with regular day-to-day people that we know, but celebrity couples and all that stuff, so it's just a lot. And, I hate seeing sometimes people talk about how marriage is a business arrangement and marriage is not that serious, and it's not, I just hate that, because I know what a good marriage is. I feel it every day. I know what it looks like, and there's nothing fake about it as long as you're putting in the work to make it great, to make it do what it is. And so I wanted to ask you, we're just having this conversation, and I know you're going to keep it real, from your perspective, from a man's perspective, but has social media killed relationships?
I think in some aspects it really has. For the weaker relationships, a stronger relationship with a stronger foundation really won't let social media affect it or cause it to destruction or cause any kind of
riff-raff.
Inside of it. But if you think of social media, really came about around like maybe 2001, 2002. And I think the real intent of social media was just to keep in touch with your friends.
Right.
That's why pictures was something that came later on down the line, and video even later than that. It was literally supposed to be a larger outlet than the telephone. Like telephone, maybe you had three-way, and to most people you can get 3 people on there. But social media was something that lets you connect to all of your friends after school. You can get home after school and you can talk to 10, 15 people at one time. That's how social media started out with, and especially once you graduated. You graduated school, it was something that was supposed to be there to let you keep in touch with your friends, your teachers, even distant family members. Then came pictures and videos. Then people started getting monetized, and that's when social media just went in a direction that I don't think it was ever designed to be. But yet the social media outlets capitalized on it and realized it was big game for them as well. And the people, the relationships, not only just like boyfriend and girlfriend, husband and wife, family relationships, friendships, all these things like took the brunt of it, like the negative things about it.
Yeah, I think for me, I think social media has destroyed a lot of relationships, but I think it's also our fault too, because it's the way that we utilize social media. And are we utilizing it for good? Or are we utilizing it to, I think we talked about before, bringing your issues to social media?
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Like, I think now it's literally become more entertainment than it has been communicating socially with your friends. Like, you really literally get on Instagram and Facebook now just to be entertained. You just like talking to somebody is probably the last thing you do now on social media. You go in there to find out the scoop. You want to see what's going on. You want to see what's going on in the shade room. You want to see what's going on Media Takeout. And it's not about relationships anymore. It's not about friendships anymore.
People are posting what they think people want to see. As opposed to, you know what I'm saying? Like, you can't, if your relationship or your marriage is already jacked up, there's no need to convince social media. You know what I'm saying? That your relationship is just so perfect. You have to take that and work on that inside your home. Otherwise, and that's why I say we make up social media. So you can't blame the platform. You can't blame Facebook or Instagram. You have to blame yourself for if your relationship is failing. Like, are you, if you're married and say you post something that I didn't want you to post. You know what I'm saying? That can destroy, a relationship. So I think it's about communication too as a couple. Like, what are you saying to each other, what are the limits, the boundaries of, okay, we're not going to post this, but we can post that. This is our limits to where we, draw the line when it comes to social media.
Right.
And I know for me, honestly, because I see so much lack of authenticity on the internet, I have contemplated not even posting us at one point, just making it strictly like motivational quotes or something like that, even on personal social media, because I don't want people to look, even though I pretty much know the people that know us for the most part know that we're real. My mom laughed one day and was like, I know you wouldn't put nothing on Facebook about Nate if it wasn't true. But it's so much lack of realness that I don't want to be mixed up in that. Like, I want people to see us and know that it's genuine. It's not for the book or the gram.
Right. And people always pattern themselves in every aspect off of celebrities and successful people.
Right.
But a lot of the things that they post on their social media is not authentic either.
Exactly.
And
they want approval just like we do.
Exactly. They want approval. They want that attention, and they want the financial gain that comes along with entertaining us.
Right.
So they'll post things just for the book, just for the gram. Like Bow Wow that time when he was on a commercial plane flying first class, and yet he posted that he was at some private airport, got to get on a private jet, and somebody sitting next to him happened to see it.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. They do the same things with relationships.
Yeah.
They, just as anybody else, and your next door neighbor, they seek that same approval. And for them, probably even more, because fame is what made them who they are. It's like a drug to them. Fame.
And I think people, and not to down people or anybody, but I think people sometimes post what they want their reality to be.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? It's like manifesting. That seems to be like the word of 2021, manifestation. But it's like they just want to, okay, if I just post that we're happy or a happy couple, maybe it'll be my reality or something like that.
Right.
And that's kind of what you described too.
Right. And I think about all the people that have made it throughout the years. Like you said, social media is not even really 20 years old.
Right.
And our grandparents and our parents, they didn't have social media.
Right.
And although they had their own difficulties, they didn't have social media to add fuel to the fire.
Right.
They didn't have these things. It was them. You go to a restaurant now, and as soon as we sit down, we pull out our phones and we're on social media. There's no eye contact. There's no intimacy. It's no, how was your day? It's boom, let me go social media. And technically, in all actuality, I'm in a relationship, seems like, with the people in social media more than I am my own life.
Right. And then that, you just triggered my brain too. When you're doing that, then you gotta watch people sliding in your DMs and you doing all that extra stuff. You know, again, that's how we utilize it. And I've told this story several times. I think I told it actually in my first book about how somebody, and I apologize to you about this, but this is the part where you listen to your spouse. Just because you think you have self-control when it comes to being faithful, that's not the point. It's about other people disrespecting your relationship. And I had that person slide in the DMs. No, I've been married at the time. I think it was over 10 years. This might have been a few years ago, I want to say. I don't know. But anyway, I have known this person for a while. His aunt dated my uncle, had a child together, so we do share a mutual cousin, and he slid in the DMs talking really, really reckless, like just being very disrespectful, something that caught me off guard. And I'm just like, wow, like that really goes to show that people, you cannot attach yourself to people that don't respect your relationship. And you may say it's just social media, but that can really ruin your relationship, how you respond to people in your social media.
Right.
It's not necessarily the platform issue, but how are you responding? What are you doing in your DMs when nobody can see you? And I deleted Messenger altogether for that. I can only talk to people if they respond to my stories now. That's the only that's the only way you're gonna give me a Messenger is if you respond to my stories. And and that'll be that. I'll say thank you or 100 or ha ha ha, whatever the case may be. But I deleted my Messenger just because of that. It's just, to me, peace in my home is more important than peace with other people. If my husband is, and at the time he didn't know about this, I made the executive decision. I didn't tell him until afterwards. But if you're not pleased with something, then we're going to address it. We're going to talk about it and eliminate it.
Right. And see, that's another thing people do on social media. they pretty much telling themselves.
Mm-hmm.
They tell whatever, like people are emotional posters.
Right.
So
yes.
If I'm in a relationship and everybody knows I'm married and I get on social media downing women about certain things they do in a relationship, automatically you know that I'm talking about my wife. Who else am I going to be talking about?
Right.
So that will encourage people to slide in your DMs because they know you're having a problem in your relationship right now. So here I come, Captain Save. You know what? Sliding in your DM.
Captain Save-a. No, but you're absolutely right on that. I truly believe that you have to be mindful of when you're angry with your spouse. And I love when you do weddings, you always tell people turn inward.
Right.
Don't turn to social media. And you know what? I've been guilty of that. You know what I'm saying? Way back in the day. Right. It's not something I would do now, but because like you said, people will read into that and that'll be their little segue into, oh, she's unhappy.
Right.
Let me see. Let me go. How you doing? Hey, big head. You know, stuff like that. I ain't seen you since high school. You know what I'm saying? Like, so you do have to be careful. And that's why I would say we make up social media. You cannot blame Facebook for something. You have to blame how you're utilizing it.
Right.
And that's just the end of that.
And I think like the gain of, especially the financial gain of social media has encouraged a lot of people to basically steer their lives toward it, because you know there are influencers out here and YouTubers out here that pretty much that's their living. They can make 6 and some of them 7 figures posting posts and promoting things. So if I can do that and my significant other is on board with it, so it's almost like it becomes a show. It's not real.
Yes.
And it affects the authenticity of your relationship, because now you're not posting your life, you're living your life to make a post. It's all about social media. And although that'll be good for a while, like what happens when social media starts getting played out? And you don't have a foundation in a relationship, and you start losing that gain that you gained from social media. It's not there anymore. Your foundation has to be love. Right.
Absolutely. It cannot be social media, like you said, or to live your life to post social media or post on social media. I love that because you can see, and I also feel like too, real recognizes real.
Right.
People know when it's just a show or when you're just putting on, and people know if that's when the cameras stop, you know, like when we shut this down, this whole set down, is Angie and Nate going to be Angie and Nate?
Right.
Is Nate and Angie still going to have love for each other? Are we still going to be, you know, and all of that stuff? And so, you know, people can recognize your lack of authenticity. Right.
So we all know
you can't fool nobody.
Right. We all know that one couple that they fight like cats and dogs when you're around them in person. Then they get on social media and it's just like the greatest love. Yeah. And it's not real.
Yeah. So you definitely, my suggestion would just be to live for yourself. You know, we're in this age now where mental health is kind of, you know, taking over, and people are more conscious now, because when we were growing up, the heck was a mental health. You know what I'm saying? So we're more conscious of it now, and understanding that social media does play a role in that, and it can affect how we utilize it, can affect our relationship. So my suggestion would be just to live your life for yourself. Right. Don't live it for somebody else. You know, if you get a brand new car and you're happy about that brand new car, post the brand new car. Right. If you buy a new house and you're happy about that new house, post that new house. But post it for yourself. Post it to encourage other people, to motivate, to support other people. Don't do it because you just want to show off. That's how your blessings get stolen. But that's how God knock you down and humble you. Right. You know.
See, there's so many things that we can do to inspire others. Like our message at Love Inspiry, I always tell you inspire the world through love. Somebody needs to see your story. Somebody needs to hear your story. And social media can be used as that, an outlet to help people. Right. And I encourage people to help people along the way. Strengthen your brother, as the Bible says. Right. When thou hast been converted, strengthen your brother. When God has brought you and pulled you up from a place and you realize that through your post you can help somebody,
right?
That you realize that there are people going through in their marriage, and you can use what you've been through in your marriage through posts to help somebody, post that.
Right.
But when you bragging and boasting, you gotta remember what comes up must come down.
Yeah.
The higher you go up, the further you have to fall.
Yeah.
I always tell people, the lower you stay to the ground,
yeah,
the least like painful your fall is going to be. Like,
right.
if I'm laying on the ground and I fall, then I mean it's not going to hurt. But if I get up on top of the roof and fall, that's a different story.
Right.
So stay humble.
Yeah, absolutely. So for those watching on YouTube, let us know in the comments, do you think that social media has destroyed relationships and the authenticity of relationships? We would love to hear from you. Just remember to keep it positive, because somebody is always in the comments reading. I know I'm that person, and they may need encouragement. You know, they may have a spouse that may be posting too much and they don't like that, or they may feel, you know, all of this of what we're talking about, and they may need an encouraging word. So just let me know your thoughts below. And if you're listening on the podcast, you can hit us up on social media. We will post a clip, and just let us know your thoughts. We would love to hear from you. And you guys know to follow us at Love Inspiry on Instagram, and we're also at Love Inspiry LLC on Facebook. So check us out there. And I always love to end the shows, our podcast, with quotes, because I'm big on quotes. And this one says, authenticity is not needing the external approval to feel good about your actions. Love that. And I thought it was so deep, and it's a great way to end the show. So guys, we'll see you next week as we talk about if being faithful is too hard.
See you next week.